So this is a pleasant surprise. Thank you, Russ, for that. I got two parts. Let me first of all tell you a little bit who I am, real briefly, and I'll tell you why I'm running. And can you hear me in the back?
Better. Right into it. Getting better.
Can you hear me in the back now? Right in there. All right, good. Let's put it right up. Good. I'm Dave Brat. I'm originally from Michigan. Went to a small liberal arts school. I teach at Randolph-Macon, very similar schools. I went from college, worked at Arthur Andersen for a couple years in their Detroit and Chicago offices in information consulting. Was called from business to Princeton Theological Seminary. The intent there was to teach undergrad students philosophy, ethics, and theology, systematic theology. But while I was in seminary, I caught the political bug. I noticed a lot of the minister friends were well-intentioned folks, but they did not understand the laws of supply and demand. And so I felt the unique calling to maybe blend those two things together. And ever since, I've tried to commit my life to integrating economics and ethics together. So while I was in seminary, I went to Wesley Seminary, which butts up against American University, applied to get my PhD in economics from the American University. And most importantly, up there I met my wife Laura and completed my PhD. We moved back down here to Randolph-Macon. I've been there for 18 years teaching economics and ethics. And in the last 6 years, I've served under two governors on their economic board. I was recently appointed to the Board of Accountancy. I work on the RMA board here. I've worked in the General Assembly for the past several years, mainly on education issues, trying to provide choice for kids with disabilities. And so that, in a nutshell, is who I am. Why am I running? I'm running because Washington, D.C. is just absolutely broken right now. What do I mean by that? First of all, the financial system is broken. The latest research on that is a book called This Time is Different by Reinhardt and Rogoff at Harvard. And usually the economy goes down in a recession and jumps back up, and this time it doesn't. And their prediction is we're down for 8 to 10 years, and so that's what it feels like. If it still feels like we're in a recession, there's good reason for that, because we're in worse than a recession. We're in a financial crisis. So the economy is broken. We're at subpar economic growth. And that's largely because members of Congress do not understand what a free market is.
That's right.
That's right.
There's a big difference between being free market and pro-big business. My opponent, Eric Cantor, runs on the Chamber of Commerce agenda, point after point after point. I'll list a few of those for you. I'm running on free markets, which does not show favoritism to anyone.
Got it.
In addition to the economy and the financial system, our healthcare system is broken, as many of the speakers have already pointed out. Obamacare and the lack of regard for the Constitution is crushing 17% of our economy. And most importantly of all, probably tied to the financial system, the economic system, and the healthcare system, the rule of law in this country is in question and is under attack day by day by day.
Yes.
I want to get you all home to your families too, so I'm going to be brief, but I'm going to go through a few key points. The major points I'm running on, and I will show you a clear contrast between my campaign and Congressman Cantor. Cantor follows Chamber of Commerce and the Business Roundtable point after point after point. You can read a Wall Street Journal article by the chairman of AT&T dated January 14 if you want to see the complete outline. But basically, the Chamber's #1 goal is they want stability in Washington, D.C. Well, a lot of smart lawyers got together and wrote that. What does that mean? How does that translate? What stability in Washington, D.C. means is just kick the can down the road a few more years.
That's right.
Just put
That's
the
right.
debt on the kids year after year after year. It grows and grows and grows. There's no fiscal discipline. And you can say one time maybe the Democrats faked us out. But year after year after year, my opponent has been there for 14 years. We need a smarter set of lawyers up there to fight the fight and end this endless debt we're putting on the next generation.
Yep.
How does the Chamber's views affect other major issues? Take a look at Obamacare. Who gets to exempt themselves out of Obamacare?
Right. Congress.
Congress staffers, big business and unions, for starters. Right? Do you get exempted out of Obamacare? No. Would Obamacare have passed if big business was not exempted? No. Absolutely not. No. If they had to suffer under the higher costs and the increased bureaucracy and regulation, Eric Cantor would have been fighting tooth and nail to block that thing, and it never would have passed. But because big business got an exemption, Obamacare is the law of the land without a fight, and you're dealing with it right now in your everyday lives. Number two, amnesty. Eric Cantor was on Sunday shows just a few weeks ago promoting parts of amnesty for people in the 7th. Again, who wants amnesty? Big business. Why does big business want amnesty? Why does the chamber want amnesty? Because it's cheap labor.
Yeah, right.
If you put your arms like this right now and increase the labor supply curve to the right, wage rate goes down for who? For you. So big business gets cheap labor, and what do you get?
Nothing.
No lower shaft, and that's just part one. Part two is who pays any of the unanticipated costs that's going to come with amnesty? Who's going to pay for education, Medicare, food stamps, Medicaid? Big business going to pay those bills, or are you? You're going to pay the tab. So amnesty, people in the 7th district, I've been out to 9 counties in the city. There is 95% disapproval. I haven't met anyone that just stands up and says, I'm in favor of this. So why our majority leader in the U.S. Congress is in favor, I don't get it. Last point I'll share with you real quickly, our debt ceiling increases. Some people in this crowd say, let's all be friendly, let's all get along. I'm all in favor of that. I went to seminary, I try to love everyone, even if I disagree with you. But seriously, people say, well, give Eric a shot, right? Give him another chance. Let's wait till we get the Senate in a year or two.
No thanks.
That's correct. Let me go back and show you that record. We had the House and the Senate and the White House, and Eric Cantor voted for debt ceiling increases in 2002, 2003, 2004, 2006, and 2007. And recently, he's voted for debt ceiling increases with no concessions from President Obama on the budget.
That's right.
That is the record that's in place. So the debt is now at $17 trillion. The biggest number in the economic textbook right now is $127 trillion in unfunded liabilities. Go to the bottom of the U.S. debt clock and check it out. Add up Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, and the Bush prescription drug plan. $127 trillion. Have you heard leadership on the Republican side or Democrat side mention that number? No. If you have not heard that number, leadership is not leading. I will mention that number. I'll go to the podium, talk loudly in the mic, and share those numbers with the American people because you need to know that. It is not fair to the next generation. That's just the unfunded portion of our liabilities, right? That's in law, and it's every single one of those programs go out to their board of trustees on Medicare, Social Security, or any of them, and they'll all tell you when they're insolvent. And it's not too long from now. Jimmy Masters was very honest in his remarks. Compare and contrast the fiscal stability and sanity of the state versus the federal government, and the federal government is out of control.
That's right.
So I'm asking for your vote tonight. I'm asking for your support tonight. I'd be honored to speak for you. I will represent you and your voice. And I would be honored to be your congressman in the future. And I thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, Dave.